Welcome to my first 2023 preview, and here's how this works. I give you 3 things I like, followed by 3 things I don't like. Then I'll break down the schedule, and at the end, I review the yearly win total odds and reveal if I am putting action down on this team. First thing I like about the Bears is Justin Fields. Now, Fields is far from the finished product, but he did show improvement last year, and in terms of pure talent, he could be elite. I remember Josh Allen's first 2 years in the league. He was a below average quarterback. Then in year 3, the Bills make the trade for Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen becomes elite. It's not far-fetched to say Fields could do the same thing. The talent is there, and Chicago did acquire a stud wide receiver in the trade, just like Buffalo did. This leads me directly to the second thing I like about the Bears, and that is their skill position talent. I mentioned earlier about the trade for DJ Moore, but the Bears also have Chase Claypool, who they acquired in a trade mid-season last year, and Darnell Mooney. Mooney and Claypool plus third-year tight end Cole Kmet give Fields plenty of options and is a massive upgrade over what Fields started with last year. Losing Montgomery in free agency hurt, but adding Donta Foreman and drafted Rashawn Johnson will help. These two are bigger backs and a nice contrast to the smaller Khalil Herbert, who really came on strong last year. The third thing I like about the Bears is their 2 new starting linebackers. For less than what the Ravens gave Roquan Smith, the Bears picked up Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. Both are bigger 3-down linebackers that can do everything. For the price of one, you get 2 young linebackers that are both in their prime and are perfect fits for this defense. Bears fans are accustomed to good linebacker play, and they will get it this year. To recap my 3 likes: Justin Fields. The upside is awesome. The skill position talent upgrade, which goes hand in hand with Fields, and the Bears' 2 new linebackers. Now, 3 things I don't like about the Bears. First thing is the Bears' pass rush. Last year, the Bears only had 20 sacks. That was dead last in the NFL, and I don't think it was addressed enough this offseason. No edge rusher was added in the draft, and the only free agent was DeMarcus Walker. Walker had 7 sacks in Tennessee last year, but is better known as a run stuffer, not as somebody who gets after the quarterback. Chicago did draft 3 defensive tackles in the draft, but no edge rushers, and this was a draft heavy with edge rushers. The Bears had the 32nd ranked scoring defense last year, and they were dead last in sacks, so if you ignore this pressing need, people could get fired over this, I think, really obvious mistake. Second thing I don't like about the Bears is questions in their secondary. First off, both our lads and ESPN are reporting Tyreek Stevenson, a second-round rookie, is going to start this year. You have rookies from last year, Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon, that both flashed but also missed time with injuries. Eddie Jackson also missed several games last year with injuries, and while an excellent player, has missed games over the last 2 seasons due to injuries. This secondary is talented, but when you're banking on youth and injured players combined with a weak pass rush, this is how you get set up for failure, especially when you combine this with the third thing I don't like, and that is the Bears playing a very tough, underrated NFC North. Most people are not talking about the NFC North as a premier division, but both the Packers and Lions were in the playoff hunt week 18 of the NFL season last year, and Minnesota did win 13 games in 2022. Detroit finished as the NFC's hottest team, going 8-2 the final 10 games, and Green Bay won 39 games the previous 3 seasons. I have not seen anybody pick Chicago anything but last in this division, and coming off a 3-win season, it's going to be hard to keep your job if you finish last again in 2023. To recap the 3 things I don't like about the Bears: first off, the lack of pass rush. Second, questions in the secondary. And third, they're playing in a tough NFC North. Now let's take a look at the Bears schedule. First thing I notice is September is going to be tough. Packers at home to open the season, followed by 2 very tough road games. Now 3 out of the next 4 are at home, plus a Thursday night game at week 5, and the NFL did a nice thing for the Bears, as Minnesota will host Kansas City Sunday, so the Bears get some extra days prep before hosting the Vikings. Out of the next 5 games, 4 on the road, but the NFL helps again with the Bears getting extra days before playing at Detroit. That week, Detroit travels to LA to play the Chargers, and they also get another break with a late bye bye, and while Chicago will be on bye, Detroit will travel to New Orleans to play the Saints. So in 3 division games, the Bears will get extra time to prepare for division rivals. When I look at the Bears schedule, I'm really looking at week 10, Thursday night at home versus Carolina, because this is a winnable game. If you can be at 4-5 going into this game, winning this game would make you 5-5 before you go to Detroit, and it gives you a legitimate shot at the playoffs. I think the magic number has to be 4 wins before you play Carolina. Before you play Carolina, you have 4 other home games. Denver and Vegas are winnable home games. The question is, can you beat either Green Bay week 1 or with some extra prep time surprise the Vikings? The road game against Washington I'm looking at on Thursday night is also very winnable, so that gives you opportunities there to win 4 games. However, if the Bears going into that Carolina game is 3-6 or worse, I think no matter what happens on Thursday, you can almost guarantee that head coach Matt Eberflus will get fired because you will have a losing record. Then you look at going into at Detroit and at Minnesota, and I see what happens is at the bye, the Bears could make a coaching move then and there. Now, let's take a look at the yearly win total odds for you sports bettors. Now on the left is DraftKings and on the right is Caesars. Now I'm having issues with Barstool, but as you can see, the over-under for both sports books is 7.5, and it's been pretty steady at this number all off season. If you don't understand these numbers, you can check out this video here as a tutorial, and you can always DM me on social media with any questions that you may have. Now my first reaction is to take the under. No team with a terrible pass rush is going to be good defensively, but Fields' upside is pretty scary. I'm not putting any action on the Bears myself, but my play would be the under, and as you can see, you can get some pretty good numbers regardless of the sportsbook on the under. Now if you haven't already, hit the like button. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Tomorrow I break down the Houston Texans. I hope to see you then.